So you want me to go back to the
Day
convention?
Day 5.
Or do-
Start with day 5,
All right.
Sunday.
Here we are, Sunday, day 5. I already did the breakfast, so continue after that.
Oh,
Okay. So after breakfast, Faisal took me to his brother's school. I was kind of surprised that I've never seen a school working on Sunday, but get there and all these boys are lined up outside with their motorcycles and walking up, waiting for the school doors to open. Faisal facilitated a meeting with the principal, and we got to go inside. I met the principal, it was very nice. Told me, I believe it was like, I don't remember how much it is, but all students, it was like a high school. They have to pay to attend there. Not a lot of money, but again, I don't remember exactly how much, but the students seemed eager because Sunday wasn't a normal class day. They were taking extra classes for extra work. And it was just great to see kids looking to forward their education like that. I went there, had a good time, saw the kids, took a few pictures, and in the neighborhood we saw a group of kids playing a game. Faisal told me that was cricket. I've only seen maybe a few seconds of cricket on TV when they were showing it on the sports channel, so I'd never really seen it. And he pulled right into the lot and said, "Hey, why don't we try it?" I didn't want to interrupt their game. He said, "No, they'll have a lot of fun." So went in there and he asked them, and he said, "Yeah, we'd like to do it." So I got out and I don't know what they call the stick for cricket. It's like a baseball bat.
sorry.
So I made my attempt at swinging at the cricket ball, and I missed and gave the boys a good laugh that day, but it was fun. Everybody laughed. We got a few pictures afterwards. Hopefully you'll get to see them. Again, just reminded me of my childhood days growing up and playing baseball in the lot around the corner behind the convenience store. Just a group of kids getting together and having fun, and they were all having a great time when we did that. Went over, picked up Faisal's cousin, who I believe he's 16 years old, and Faisal seems to be mentoring him a little bit and encouraging him to do more things. Very nice smile. He was a very respectful boy. We went out and met Faisal's friend at a construction site. But on the way to the site, we drove around his area of town and saw some new things. Saw a real, I guess you would call it interesting, roadside stand. They were selling goat heads. I'm guessing for the brains or something to cook, but a little unsettling, but different. No, we got there again, got through the traffic, made it to the construction site, met with Faisal's friend, had some tea there. I noticed a lot of good tea here. I think almost everybody drinks tea. It's one of my favorite things to do too, so it's very good. We had some tea. He explained a little bit about the construction site. They were busily working on a late Sunday morning, building this, I think it was either office building or apartment building, but 20 or more stories tall. Not too far from the office here. They had a group of workers, I don't know where they were from, but they were sending concrete about 20, at least 20 flights up on this external kind of bucket elevator thing. That was, they would fire up a generator and get it going every time. It was fun to watch. I got a little bit of a video, hopefully you can see that as well. Got back there, came back, rested a little bit, and then Rihan asked if I'd like to go to a wedding. A friend of his was getting married, and I guess he said it was unusual because it was a daytime wedding where most of the other weddings were an evening wedding. Never been to a wedding here, so I said sure, and it wasn't very far away. I had a little car ride with Rihanna and his family. We got there. There's security at the front door. They guided us right in, and probably the biggest wedding hall I've ever seen. Very nicely decorated, tables with tablecloths and fancy chandeliers. They had people seated at the tables and sort of a buffet set up with a bunch of different food. Rihanna helped me select some good food and sat down for a little bit at a table with other people that were already sitting there who didn't know them, but one of them was Rihanna's neighbor. He was very interesting. He's in plastics manufacturing, and just so happens that the guy next to him was also in a different type of plastics manufacturing. So we got into a little bit of business philosophy and philosophical discussions about, what the best things to do in business are, and his friend there suggested, his way of doing business, and he's obviously very successful, was to stay out of debt. So that was a big principle that he's built his business on, is saving and spending only what you need until you can build it up more. So owns a completely debt-free company, very successful. I was great to hear that. Met another couple that one guy was a retired airline worker, and his wife, I believe she's still a part-time principal at a college. Very nice. All these people spoke English to me, which I was appreciative of. It's difficult being in a foreign country that has a different language, yet when somebody takes the time that knows your language to speak to you, I was very appreciative, just to understand what was going on at the table and not just sitting there, but to learn a lot from these guys. Again, very successful people in a wedding hall. I'm guessing 750 people. Very nice. Everything was just top quality. I had a good conversation. Walked around. It was really hot that day outside, but it was nice indoors. Went back out, came back, and then we went to, what was the name of the festival?
Navratri.
Navratri?
Hindu festival. Navratri.
No.
Navratri.
No.
Ratri.
Ratri. Navratri. Okay. Coming back from the wedding, we rested and changed and went to a Hindu festival, Navratri, on the other side of Karachi. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know what we were going to do there. It seems to be in a very poor part of town where I saw a lot of people on the street. Initially, if Rihanna hadn't explained it to me, I would have thought they were homeless, but they aren't homeless. There's a free hospital that's free for anybody that people go get treated for, and the people that were sleeping on the streets were their family, waiting for them to get released from the hospital. I asked, well, what do they do when it rains? And I was told that, well, it only rains about 10 days a year here, so not too many worries about that. But we made it a little crowded again in the area, but we got a parking spot, went into, seemed to be an enclosed, I don't know, old-fashioned city, I guess I'll call it. But went in there and I heard sound like traditional Hindu music, but very lively and festive. And the first thing I noticed was all the bright colors, a lot of pink, reds, blues, purple. saw some little girls walking by in very, very fancy dresses, and they had little pots. And Rian's daughter explained to me that it, to me, is similar to Halloween. They go around with their pots and you put candy in there and it puts smiles on their faces. So, a little Halloween at Hindu festival in Karachi. We enjoyed going in. There was temples, there were mosques, there were churches, there were living places, there were vendors. A lot to see in there. I was really surprised. I didn't think there was that much behind the walls, but there was a lot in there. First time inside of you call it a temple, for a Hindu temple. Went in there. Never been in a Hindu temple before, but they were those little girls hitting sticks together. I guess that's a tradition. As the music was playing, they were drumming and singing. And sat down on the floor, just like everything here in Pakistan. You take your shoes off before you go in, but another one, I think it was the Sikh worship area. They didn't allow socks in there, so I had to take my socks off too. And you walk in. They had a ceremony that I watched, and it was very nice. And then upon exiting, you don't turn around and walk the other way. You just back up on your way out, and that's showing them respect. That was a lot of fun. We didn't go into the church there, but there was one or maybe two churches at least there. A lot of people it reminds me like what an old Italian village or something would be like, with the narrow walkways and the buildings. One guy took us through a walkway in between the buildings and noticed one-room apartments, I guess it was, where some of the people in the community live. Not very much in there. I didn't notice any AC in any of those rooms.